By now, you would have already become a pro in gypsum product because we are towards the end. Hello everyone, myself Dr. Riddhi Lalan, author of Dental Material Mind Map book and a prosthodontist, and we shall be covering a very small topic, that is expansion in gypsum products. So now what we actually need to understand here is basically just two terms. Okay, one is the normal setting expansion and the other is hygroscopic. What is meant by normal? It is the basic outward thrust of the nuclei of crystallization that leads to expansion. Let's look into how exactly does that happen. So what is going to happen? The crystals are going to grow and impart outward thrust. So if this is the crystal, it will just grow in outward direction. Now, is this desirable? It is never desirable to have these expansion happening because it is going to compromise your dimensional stability. So how do you exactly control your setting expansion? It is more in hand mixing because obviously while you are mixing with hand, there is going to be incorporation of air. And this incorporation of air will make sure that the crystals of calcium sulfate can grow more freely. So what happens? They just grow and push against each other, leading to greater expansion. While vacuum will make sure that there is no air that is being entrapped or is pushing the crystals outward. Also, reduction in setting expansion can also happen by altering the water powder ratio. But is this the correct method? Like we have discussed that water powder ratio should not be altered. So there can be modifiers that can be used like 2% potassium sulfate and sodium chloride and borax that can alter the setting reaction, at the same time control the crystal growth. So let's just understand the effect of drying on the strength of dental stone. Alright, what you see here is as the percentage weight loss increases, there is increase in compressive strength. Now, why does this happen? Because the water is going to evaporate. And as the water evaporates from gypsum, what is going to happen? Dihydrate crystals will come closer, interlock more tightly, which will lead to raising of compressive strength and increase in interlocking of crystal. So this is one thing that will lead to increase in compressive strength. Now talking about hygroscopic expansion. The word hygro means that water comes in picture. So when I'm talking about gypsum being placed underwater before the initial set itself, what is going to happen? There is going to be expansion because now let's assume these were the particles, okay? And there was water that came in contact with all the particles. Now, what did this water do? It actually maintained the constant aqueous phase and also led to the growth of crystal. Now, when water is going to come into picture, there is going to be more amount of expansion that is going to be observed. When is it actually going to stop? There has to be some time that hygroscopic expansion stops, right? That will be when there would be no external water that would be available for the crystals to grow and apply thrust and increase. So then the aqueous phase that was constant and in bulk is just going to be confined into a thin film. But when we have to compare the normal setting expansion to hygroscopic setting expansion, hygroscopic is definitely going to be much higher compared to normal setting expansion. So if you were able to understand gypsum well and you further want to clarify your doubts and know more about the products, here is the number, that is our WhatsApp number. you can contact and you can procure the book. You can talk with our agent and clear your doubts if you have any. Let's just quickly talk about the flashcard. So what is the mechanism behind normal setting expansion in gypsum product? Basically, the normal setting expansion occurs due to the outward thrust. It is generated when the interlocking gypsum product grow and push them outside during the setting, but in the presence of air. So it is very important that normal setting expansion takes place in presence of air, while hygroscopic will take place in water. The second part, that is the fun part, which is MCQ. So, why is hygroscopic expansion of gypsum greater than that of the normal setting expansion? Gypsum crystal dissolves completely in water. Is that the reason? Water increases the rate of hemihydrate formation. Water will increase the rate of dihydrate formation. So this is not correct. Excess water reduces restraining surface tension, allowing free crystal growth. Water prevents crystallization of gypsum. This is also incorrect. Also, gypsum crystal dissolves completely in water is not correct. If it would have completely dissolved, the rate of reaction would have stopped. But it is the excess water that is actually going to restrain surface tension, which will in turn allow the crystals to grow and increase in size and cause expansion. So I hope you were able to understand the expansion can correlate the setting mechanism, the reaction that happens, how crystals dissolve, precipitate, and let's just move to the last part, that is the special gypsum product. Please do not miss, because at the end there is a surprise waiting for you all. I'll see you in the next video.